Hi, I'm Rigger. This is You Alright, and today let's talk about some magic. Kinda. Before all that though, be sure to like it if you like it, share it if you think others would like it, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Now, after Emerald slipped away with the team at the end of Chapter 9, an inkling of an idea came to me. We all know Oz's inspiration, but I came to realise there's a great chance for a reference and something fun for the audience that's now possible. To start with, let's go over the facts that kind of add up to this. First up is Oscar and magic. We know that Oscar is scared and reluctant to use magic, which is fair enough because it's been revealed the consequences of doing so is it's making Oz and Oscar merge faster. That is a very scary thought. And considering then that he was then immediately forced to use magic twice right after that reveal, and one of those seems to be quite a powerful use of it, one can only assume this will have said consequences and he will move more towards merging with Oz. I don't think Oscar just died here, like quote-unquote died. It'd be a very odd decision if they did that, but I'm sure he will feel the consequences of this action. But the important thing is he doesn't want to use magic, and he has shown that he can use magic. And that leads into who saw he can use magic, and that's Salem. It leads into Salem's comments about it, saying how he's lessened himself. Presumably after creating the Maiden and gifting the Bronwyns their powers, etc., Oz wasn't lying when he said his magical reserves were dwindling. He's given away large chunks of power and lots of smaller ones which all add up, meaning his magic just isn't what it once was, and Salem knows it. She made that comment right after he blasted her with magic and it didn't have much of an impact. So, Salem now has an expectation of Oz's magic. She seems to have a gauge on what she thinks he can do. But there is the point here that it was Oscar. It was Oscar doing it, not Oz. It wasn't Oz wielding his own magic he's had for ages. It was Oscar with just Oz in the back of his mind. We can use that. Next up, we look to Emerald. It's only a minor point here, but yes, her semblance works perfectly on Salem. No reason it shouldn't, of course. Salem isn't so special that, semblances don't just work on her or something, but we do now have on-screen evidence that it works perfectly fine on her just as anyone else. Not that we shouldn't think it would, but we just have proof of it now. It worked perfectly fine on her. Emerald's trickery was good enough to fool her, both visually and audibly. It was just Oscar's acting that was screwing it up. But also with that we have Emerald's semblance herself. It's that she says she's been working on it. Oscar as Hazel is a great example that she has worked on it. The visual aspect, the auditory aspect, how long she can hold it, and how quickly she adapts to new minds on approach are all signs of how good she is with it now. Also, with Emerald we need to look at who she is. She's not comfortable with all this mass slaughtering, she's made that pretty clear. And she now knows the world is working towards being ended, which is pretty bad. She's terrified of Salem, and she may be up to help the good guys now, so long as it's not against Cinder, presumably. I'd say she might be too scared to try and act against Salem, but at this point she's also a direct target anyway, so might as well give it a shot. Unless she just tries running away, which is also possible. She might just run, but there's a good chance she might help because safety in numbers, right? She runs off alone, Salem captures her, that could be a fear, so we can use this if she stays around. But also, we should mention how illusions in general work. Not that I don't think you know how they work, but we need to remember, there's no reason that Emerald can't show you something spectacular. If she wanted to show you Atlas flipping around upside down, being held up by a flying, talking hot dog, she could, but you probably wouldn't buy it, right? You'd think it's a trick being done to you. The more fantastic or weird the thing she shows you, the less likely your brain will think it's real. You'll assume powers or tricks being used on you. It's in her best interest to show things as normal as possible, gravity working right, etc. The less you have to believe to make it make sense, the more successful the trick, and we should remember that. Lastly, we have the staff. We all think it's coming out of that vault, because it kinda has to for plot. For who ends up with it, that's something else entirely. It can be juggled around, it's a object. But we know the second anyone uses it, Atlas will fall out of the sky. Interestingly, I'm not sure if Salem knows that. She might. It's kinda strange, because she doesn't know everything about the relics, but she does know some things, and it all comes down to whatever Oz told her in the past. She knows their shapes, like she knows the other one's a sword. She seems to know what they do, like she knows Jin, you asked questions, but she didn't know Jin's password. It's unknown if there's any requirements to use the staff, and if there was, she may not know those either. But it's also unknown exactly if she knows how it functions, if it is holding up Atlas, or if she believes the cover story that they're somehow doing it with dust. It's unclear if she knows the limitations of it. Although the way that Oscar talks about the staff, which presumably has some of Oz's knowledge, it seems like you can just use it, so we should be scared of that. But I just wanted to point out it's not clear how much Salem actually knows, especially about exactly how it functions or what it's currently being used for. But all these things together add up to a very sort of fun idea. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have a specific set of events, but I was inspired thinking about the real Wizard of Oz. Specifically the movie. Oz pretends to be this great big projected face with a booming voice and bursts of fire everywhere, but it's an act. It's an illusion. And I think we might see something like this again. No matter what Oz did here, Salem will be back, so there will be a need to hold her back or keep fighting her or do something again. I think there's a variety of ways this could go down with a reference to Oz. Remember, Mercury and Tyrion are gone, so the only real minds left to trick on the bad guy team are Salem, Cinder, and Watts, and we don't exactly know if they'll all be there. It might be just Salem, they could be doing their own thing, etc. Emerald is capable of tricking three minds at once if she wants to, and she might get away with it being just Salem in some scenarios if Salem sees one thing and even if the other humans don't, if it's a quick enough decision. Also, I'd like to point out she could get assistance from Jean now, making the illusions work more or sustain longer or work on more people, so we should factor that in when we think about these scenarios. So I've got 3 versions for you. First up is the most direct reference to Oz, and it's pretty fun. We know we have to get all the civilians to escape, or as many as possible. We also know we might need to escape with the staff if the good guys end up with it. There is a chance that the good guys take the staff. So long as they don't do anything else with it, Atlas will stay where it is. They might decide taking it and running is the better option. If you're going to cover their escape, there's another reference we can do here, and it's from something that they've referenced quite a fair bit already in this season, and that is Star Wars. Specifically, The Last Jedi. Take out if you like the movie or not relevant. We're just looking at the scenario from the movie. It's that they do an illusory delaying gambit while people are escaping. I guess spoilers, but come on. But yeah, Luke goes out and seemingly does the impossible. He does things that couldn't be possible, living up to his legend to intimidate. He walks through insane amounts of blaster fire, he pulls off crazy movements in a saber fight, but in the end, he was never there at all. We can do this. Oz could challenge Salem to a fight. Put on a huge magical display. He shocks her with how powerful he is. He puts on Oz's voice, saying, "You were only fighting Oscar before, but now we're merged, and now that I'm wielding my own magic, I am so much more powerful than you thought." To illustrate, he then does something crazy, like blows up something with one hand, showing off what he wields now. So long as Oz dodges everything or reacts appropriately, and he never actually hits Salem because she is also dodging, there's no need for it to be real. We as the audience think it's real, and we fear for Oscar. Salem probably doesn't want to kill him, but she will definitely try to capture him again. That's in her best interest. And we think that all this magic, Oscar is merging more now with Oz. And he's probably talked about it after the whale, about that is getting closer, and we as the audience think he's going. You could even show other characters reacting and scared at what they're seeing. But then at the end, nope. She catches him in tendrils, and uh-oh, they go right through him. He was never there at all. The whole scene around her vanishes. Salem was fighting no one. She blasted the hell out of wherever she was, for sure, because all her magic was still real, but it was all a show. Even if there's a crowd, all those other characters reacting, nope, they just vanish. There's seemingly never been an actual limit to what she can show you, it's if you buy it or not. But also, with Jean's help and her improvements, she can play out a scene for Salem, or if that's too hard, you can remove the crowd and just make it a one-on-one. But Oz can do crazy things because of magic. Salem can buy it, and we as the audience can buy it more because we've seen displays of unreal things. And we've seen Salem fight, so we've seen some of these magical effects. It wouldn't trigger in Salem's head, or our head, that it's fake for at least a longer period of time than if this came out of nowhere. And Emerald has also seen this fight with magic. She now has a better idea of what Salem can do and what magic can do. Not to mention, she could ask Oscar or Oz about it for advice while she's creating this illusion. But in the end, everyone's run away and Salem was just fighting no one. Whoop, you're on Atlas and they've gone. Probably with the staff. Bye. And, this will mean she's immediately chasing you, but it got you out of here. So long as we're in a general distance from Salem, just like Emerald can see her and John's helping, then yeah, we can be, a head start away and fly in as fast as we can. But mostly we got everyone else off Atlas and all the other people to escape at the same time. And also, they might not have the staff. They could have given the staff to someone else to take away in an earlier transport. It's just our characters who are the last out. Oh, by the way, just to look out for it, if you're gonna say who did they send the staff with if they don't have it, keep an eye out on Fiona's hands. Just saying. And if you have this challenge, like a one-on-one challenge, Salem's gonna be like, well, you can't beat me, and, she plays along, she acts fair, like a truce, and the Grimm stop attacking. So the Grimm are under orders not to move, she doesn't see what they see, and they just stand there and everyone flies right past them. Works pretty well. Another version of this is a very odd fake out, but it might actually get the animators out of some trouble because I am thinking of you. I, like everyone else, would love to see Atlas fall. Not because I'm evil or anything, but that level of destruction would just be crazy to see. A whole city falling out of the sky and blowing up the tundra around it, all the dust and the buildings and the mines and everything just explodes. But I don't envy the animators who have to try and make that happen, right? It's a gargantuan task and difficult to process that they're gonna have to do all that, especially with how under the pump they've been. So this is a trick that can get them out of it. Let's say Salem does know what the staff does. Or perhaps before we get to this point, she's found out in the next few episodes what it does. Or more specifically, what it's doing, the consequences of if she uses it. She has the staff. She then uses it to hold the whole city hostage. She demands that RWBY or Penny or Oscar or all of them come on as prisoners or she'll drop this place right now. Amazingly, they say no. What? No. I will kill everyone. They say do it. It's not the real staff, we're not that stupid. You have a fake. Salem scowls and calls them a liar. And then, to prove her point, she uses the staff. And nothing happens. Atlas stays right where it is. There's no destruction, no chaos, no screaming. Salem is furious, hurling the staff in anger and moves to attack. As she does this, the team makes a play at the staff, snatch it, and get out of there. At which point, the illusion breaks. It was real. The trick Emerald was using her semblance on Salem to not show her the destruction, to not let her hear Atlas legitimately falling. They used the stalling to evacuate as many people as they could, and Atlas totally fell. But it saves the animators having to show it because we see what Salem sees, that she uses the staff and nothing happens. And then the illusion breaks and we see the aftermath. We see the result of all the destruction on the ground, all the smoke and everything comes into vision, but it's already fallen. It's a big brain play. And the team snatched the staff and run. It's not impossible, especially depending who it was. Like if it was someone like Penny who can fly, that helps. The last version of this is a weird one. Salem does the same thing. She holds up Atlas, demanding the staff and that they hand it over. Last chance. Hand over the staff now or I will just send in this Grimm horde and you all die. And then say it's Penny, or again someone who can fly, and she does it. She flies over and hands the staff to Salem and then retreats away. So, she has it. Salem, snarling down at them, then just tells them, you know what, it's been fun, but goodbye. She uses the staff, and Atlas falls. And it falls gloriously, the poor animators. But here it is. It falls, everything explodes, the teams go down with the ship, everyone's dead. Can't be. Actually, it can't be, right? The show isn't just ending here. But they're all dead. Salem smirks at what she's done. She puts down the staff and walks away, and the whale starts to fly away. Then, ta-da! The staff is fake. The entire thing was fake. The big destruction and fall of Atlas was the illusion. The whole thing. She made Salem see that the staff was the staff, and she made Salem see Atlas fall out of the sky. But neither were true, and Atlas is exactly where it was. Emerald can only hold it so long, especially once Salem starts to leave, especially if it's like breaking eye contact, and also at that point Emerald would lose track of where the illusion is supposed to be, like location-wise. But just in general distance, Salem will also move out of where she's in effective range. But if we say Jean is with her and she has a good line of eyesight on it for a while, we can maybe play with the fact Salem is being overconfident. There's no one on the whale who can take the staff at this point, for whatever reason. She's not scared it's gonna get lost, there's literally no team there and she just watched everyone die, so she puts it down and walks away. We see the staff just vanish. She wasn't holding nothing. It has to be something about the right size and shape. So I'm not sure what it could be, just a pipe. Oz's cane would be interesting because it's like the right length. If they had to sacrifice Oz's cane for this trick, they sort of thought of it on the fly and Oz handed over his cane. Because then we have to lose that and it depowers Oscar again, which would be interesting. We do have to get it back at some point then. And we assume we might need it for whatever happens eventually at Beacon 2. So that would be something to give up, but not as bad as the staff. And you can almost call it foreshadowing because we've had that staff be handed back and forth once already. So you've established how important it is and it sucks to lose it. But yeah, they are now on the clock. The second Salem starts leaving at all or breaks far enough away that Emerald loses track of where the illusion should be, they have to run. They don't have hours, they have, minutes or seconds, but they start to run. Because so long as they don't lose the staff, Atlas will stay where it is. So it's time to flee the country. Remember, Salem doesn't want to kill Atlas, she wants the staff. She will chase them. So this is the team putting a target on their back. They jump into transport, they flee the country, and Salem will start chasing them. But Atlas is safe. They did a little switcheroo just long enough to get away. There is another version of this which is super weird, but I'll mention it anyway because otherwise I won't get a chance to. It's that they actually leave on Atlas. They sever its connections, and then they use the staff to actively fly Atlas not up, but across country. Their plan to evacuate is to literally move Atlas away, and then it makes this weird giant chase of a giant flying whale army chasing a floating city across the globe. It has the artificial environments, and that way they can save lives on it, but they also are using the thing Salem wants to do it, and then they have to put it down somewhere. So they fly to, Vacuo, just the whole city, and once they're close enough, they get people off on transports from Vacuo, and then drop the city in a desert, or in the ocean, somewhere large and open. I don't think they'd have enough, control to gently set the city down, so probably have to drop it, probably lose the city. Also, don't science me about tsunamis, I know, but the desert's a better plan anyway. It would become really kind of super weird, but, why not? We're getting into magic and stuff. Also, there'll be an odd moment when you have to, fly everyone off Atlas and then knowingly let it drop, watching it all explode. But, hey, it's better than being dead. But, there is just the option that they just jump on ships and fly away, and Salem will notice and turn around and chase them, but, still better than nothing. Because there's nothing saying the staff can't keep Atlas afloat from the other side of the world. It's stored there because it's most convenient there, and presumably safest. They're guarding the thing that they desperately need, but there's nothing in the rules saying that it has to be in close proximity. So they could presumably just run with the staff, still keeping Atlas up, and then vow not to use it for anything. Anyway, just some ideas I came up with on how we can use Emerald and Oscar to do a nice illusion and a nice little idea. She makes believe that people are seeing magic, or making the city magic, or whatever. But it was all illusion all along. A simple mind trick. But until next time, remember, seeing is believing. Unless you're not believing what you're seeing. In which case, throw a rock at it or something to be sure. Anyway, my name is Rigger. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope I did alright.